It's only entertainment.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to season 2, episode 3. I got my brother Peter Fusilero on here with me. Peter, what's going on, my guy?
Mally, what's up, brother? Thanks for having me, my G.
Man, I couldn't think of a better person to have on here, especially when it comes to the skill development and the training and the grind that basketball entails. Man, so I'm happy to have you on. I really appreciate your presence, my guy.
Yes, sir. Let's get to it.
Let's do it, man. So let's just talk about right now what you got going on right now currently. What's your life look like right now?
Yeah, man. So I just finished up at the University of Georgia. I was a grad assistant for Coach Crean in the men's basketball team. Finished up in May, got my master's degree in sports management. But my main responsibilities over there was player development, video, and just any other miscellaneous tasks that needed to be done. So finished up there, and I went to Houston shortly after to help my guy, Stefan Martinez, with some player development for this agency called Beyond Athlete Management. So they have guys such as like Jay Sean Tate, Matt Coleman, Freddie Gillespie. But then we have a handful of other guys just kind of from the Texas area or who came to work out, like Dwayne Bacon, Carson Edwards, Cam Reynolds, Isaiah Taylor. So we got a good group down here, man. We had about 20 plus guys come through our gym. But had about probably 12 to 14 consistently. So a lot of dudes got better this summer, man. Really enjoyed it. I feel like it kept me in condition in terms of teaching and coaching.
For sure.
Kind of in this gap time. So just in the process of interviewing with G League teams for entry level positions. So I went to the Combine in Chicago, interviewed there, and interviewed over at Summer League. So this is kind of a waiting time. Usually NBA teams don't hire typically until September or October. So doing this kind of in the meantime to stay sharp. And then last 2 weeks, I went to Israel and Austria to lead some player development clinics with some other G League personnel. So that was really cool. So yeah, man, that's basketball this summer, brother. Just trying to help kids, help players get better, man, and continue to stay sharp and try to get better myself.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Shout out to Dan Poneman and Beyond Sports and all those guys, man. They're doing great things over there with what they got going on, man. You mentioned talking about going to Israel and Austria, you said?
Yep.
Man, talk about that experience, man, just in itself, just being over the water and how big basketball is.
Yeah, man. I mean, the opportunity kind of came last second. Created a good relationship with Mexico City just created a G League organization.
Right.
And so I got close with the general manager, just kind of like in this interview process, and invited myself and then the Texas Legends associate head coach, Nelson Taroba, and we went over there, and it was a blessing, man, just to be able to travel through hoop and just kind of see a whole different side of basketball, just a different culture. So in Austria, we were leading clinics for this one club called the Triskirchen Lions, which is one of Austria's like first division teams, and so we worked with like their pros down to their under levels. So no, the kids, I mean, across the board, especially over there, like kids are very coachable. Like kids love basketball. Kids are very grateful to have American coaches come over and teach them. And so we tried to give them everything that we want for our kids to have here in terms of like a fitness session every single day. A productive plan where we're attacking certain skills that these kids need to have, especially at their age, and then how to implement those skills within like greater concepts like pick and roll, 0.5 decision making,
right?
Like in 3-on-3 settings, and then progressing into 5-on-5. We'd watch film, for about 15-20 minutes. Myself and Coach Nelson would have an edit prepared, and then we go apply it on the court and play, in 3-on-3 setting, 5-on-5. So I think the kids got better from it every day. We kind of check for understanding just to see where they learned today, where they got better, and they gave some great feedback of where they got better, and we kind of made mental notes of how we can make adjustments. So it was great, man. Israel was really good. So we were 5 days in Austria, and then went to Tel Aviv and led clinics there for players that were involved in like Maccabi Tel Aviv, which is like the bigger one, but kids from all over. But Israel's got some high level talent. two kids that were being recruited, by high major Division Ones over here in the States. A lot of kids that already played for their, Israel, club, professional club teams.
Yep.
So like even the shorties, like the 13-year-olds, like they work, man. Like they were like we were 13. I mean, you were tough, Nally, but I know for me, bro, I wasn't doing what they were doing at 13. Be able to handle the basketball and just the cerebralness, like
Yeah.
spacing, like how to relocate off the penetration, just little stuff like that we kind of take for granted. So no, like bottom line, from Austria to Israel, like the world's catching up. The world's catching up, and they gonna work for everything they got. Because especially in Israel, like these kids, like these kids are fighting so hard for a college scholarship, because if they don't get a college scholarship, then they have to go to the military for 3 years.
Right. That's real.
So
It's real.
like kids are like fighting for like scholarships to come to the States to get the waiver. So they have to be in the military for 3 years in Israel, because what happens is that they have to, a lot of times like they're trying to balance basketball in the military, and now they're going into college at 21 years old, which is good, I guess, because like now they're, I guess, more mature and all that stuff. But it's crazy, like kids are trying to get right to it right away, because having to it's crazy over there, man. Just in terms of just the military presence, and obviously the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. So it was a culture shock for sure. But nonetheless, basketball wise, it was great.
Man, that's dope, man. Put things in perspective too for some kids out here, man. They kind of take basketball for granted, man. These guys literally playing for their lives almost, you know what I'm saying? So it really puts things in perspective, man. But you talked about you at the age of 13, man. What exact age was it that I finally got to meet you? How old were you when I met you, man?
Probably Camp Horseshoe, bro. Like your junior, senior year. I was probably like somewhere middle school age.
Crazy.
And we looked up to you, bro. Like, I mean, obviously for me, it was like the Michael Tulips. Like that was my high school. You know what I'm saying? So like Michael and his older brother, then like
Joe.
Camardella, like my head coach was like really starting to create, something special over there in terms of culture. So like I know everybody from me in my class, like we looked up to like them, and then obviously the other players in the area, like yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like when I think Prospect played in like, I think you guys hosted the sectional or like regional. I remember like going up to Niles North and like seeing y'all play, like seeing, you know what I'm saying? Like Evanston, Glenbrook North, like there were some really good like teams back in MSL, obviously, and then, when I got to high school, then, basketball was really popping off, obviously in the city, suburbs too, with like Jalen and everybody, like Illinois basketball was really good during that period. And like for me, it was like, bro, I just want to be on that floor. Like I was out of shape. Like I was out of shape going into high school. And so it was like a wake up call. Like, I gotta get myself together just to give myself a chance to play. But it was also like, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play at the next level. I want to be around basketball and some so I do the media route. But, I don't think, looking now, like I would kill myself in one-on-one. Like with my high school self, it's night and day. Just in terms of what I've learned, the players I've been around, like
for sure,
naturally get better in that regard. So like now going back and like teaching like I'll go back to like my high school or like shorts from the area and try to give them everything or the knowledge that I wish I would have known in terms of just having a routine, the importance of extra work, and then like obviously the skill itself in terms of like how to put the ball on the floor and be efficient with it, and the importance of being able to shoot the basketball, like how to play off penetration, and like all that little stuff, like stuff that I would have maybe had a better idea of knowing.
Absolutely.
So yeah, bro, it's been a long time for us, bro. But I've always looked up to you. I mean, that whole group. It was like Aaron Washington. It was Abdul. It was what I'm saying, like y'all had a squad for sure, bro. BJ. Even Dante Stevens. He was probably a year or so older than me, but like North has always been, at least for us, like that's why Camardella always had us practice for you guys, because we knew like, okay, this is gonna be the closest thing to like compete with somebody from like a CPS type school, right? Like it like I was like scared of, but like it's like, yo, like you gotta get your SHIT together, because this is the best of the best. So it was good, bro.
Man, likewise, man. We have much respect for you guys, Prospect, man. You guys always did things the right way. Always had good players in y'all staff. So the respect was mutual, 1,000%. 1,000%, man. You talked a little bit about the media, how you got started with the media, man. Get back to the LitFuse day, of course, man. I definitely remember those specifically, man, and how all the AAU tournaments you were going to and all the training sessions you were going to. Just talk about the LitFuse days and what inspired you to that.
Like I said, bro, like I didn't think, I'd be playing at the next level. I wanted to be around the game in some capacity. So I used the video camera to do that. So that was, a random direct message to Mike Irvin on Twitter. Turned out to be, a 5-6+ year thing with them. And it's been a lifelong relationship. So traveled with them, when it was like the heyday, when it was like Jaleel Okafor, Cliff, Pat McCaw was like right in this room right here. Marcus Yvette, Brunson. Like we were loaded, man.
Barry Parker.
Yeah, like super loaded. And then I got blessed all the way down to it was IO and all them, Talon. So had some really good groups. So no, it was I think the biggest blessing that came out of it just was like the relationships built from it, bro.
Absolutely.
The coaches I got to meet on the circuit. That's how I made the good relationships to go to Kansas. And still have relationships. Like it's funny. Like when I was in Israel, I'm helped this one kid's getting recruited by UConn, and this coach Luke Murray, who was an Illinois guy, used to be at Xavier. I remember he was one of the first coaches I ever talked to when I was in McCurve.
Wow.
He's literally on the phone I'm literally in the car. He's talking with the guy from Israel. Luke Murray's on the phone. He's like, "That's Peter Fusilero. Like, I remember him from like the Mac Irvin. Like, he's good. Like, so it's funny. Like Pat coming down here to work out. Like, it's full circle, man. Just all the amazing relationships that Mac Irvin did for me. And like I use a video camera to like shadow a lot of people. Like do videos for my guy Stefan, like Jeff Pagliacca, like just being gyms just to learn subconsciously. Like I thought I was, doing it just to kind of give the concept over for myself. I was learning.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of make the shift from more so the media side to coaching, just because I saw the impact and what the game did for me in terms of coaching. I wanted to do the same thing for others. And, I kind of took an unconventional path to do it, but, I was thankful I kind of made the transition. But I needed the media. I needed Mac Irvin. I needed that time just to form relationships.
Yeah.
And then, so to give myself an opportunity later where a lot of this stuff is coming full circle. So it's crazy how that, works out.
Oh, for sure, man. Shout out to the Mac Irvin Fire, Nick Irvin, man. New coach out here at Arizona.
Yeah.
State.
Yep.
I'm out here in Tempe right now, so I'm gonna have to go check them out for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Check them out, man. Talk about just Mac Irvin Fire, man. I don't know if people really understand how big of a AAU program and how good the players, I should say great, the players were, like Jabari Parker. You got Jaleel and Cliff Alexander, number 1 and 2 in the country. Just talk about, you got Jalen Brunson, who just got a Supermax, who we'll end up talking about it a little bit later. But just talk about being around those players and the skill level that you got to see them throughout their path to where they are today.
Yeah, I think I took it for granted, man, because like I got into it like right when it was really popular.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean the Mac Irvin Fire brand speaks for itself. Just the amount of players that they've helped send off to college, back to like the Godfather Mac Irvin, like
right.
The Sean Marions and the Pargo brothers, like Antoine Walker, like all these guys played for this program, and just to continue, like for the Irvin family, all the brothers, and then Cindy to kind of continue his legacy to do that. It wasn't just like Jaleel and Cliff. Obviously, you're gonna have the big names, but like they helped everybody down to the last guy on the bench,
right?
An opportunity to go to school, and that's like the biggest thing, and just giving them a platform to do that. So that's what, and I really bonded with them dudes like from top all the way to bottom. That's why like crazy, like Pat was like the 8th man. We talk about that to this day.
3-time NBA champion now.
3-time NBA champ. Like he's about to play with USA Basketball. Mini camp. I think this coming week. So you know what I'm saying. So like the talent, just I would say just across the board, not only Mac Irvin, but like Mean Streets. There's a whole country that 2014, 2015 period to 2017 loaded. What I mean? So it was a great time for basketball, and I'm very fortunate to have experienced that. you know.
Sure, for sure, man. And I know we talked about all those other great players, but I know you have a specific and a personal relationship with Jalen Brunson, who recently just signed a huge contract. Shout out to Jalen with the New York
Yeah.
Knicks. Just talk about, man, just talk about you guys' relationship and how you this probably doesn't surprise you much because you got to see him from when it all really started. I remember his coach Ambrose was talking about him at Camp Horseshoe. I got this incoming freshman, and he's unbelievable. I'm like, man, who is this guy? Like, I never seen like you guys are talking about him. Like, man, I got to see him, and now the whole world sees exactly who he is and what he stands for. So just talk about a little bit about Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, no, same thing, bro. Like I heard when everyone was saying Jalen Brunson, I'm like, y'all forget about Connor Cashaw, like, because
Dog
Connor grew up with us, and so like when Connor was gonna go to Stevenson, we're like, yo, this is about to be the dude,
right?
Then Coach Hess and Ambrose was like, yeah, no, Connor's gonna be great, but this dude right here. So for it to all happen, it all worked out. Like, I created a relationship with Jalen like before he was even with McIrvin.
Right.
Like, I just started doing, really picking up the film, and like Jalen was like my first ever like highlight video I did. This was like his freshman, sophomore year when he like made that run, and just got super close with his family. And then literally like as I got with McIrvin, Jalen joined McIrvin.
Right.
So, us being the only really kids from the suburbs, I used to drive with like Jalen and his family to like all the AAU tournaments.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll pull up, stayed at the house, like, and then we drive into Minnesota, like, so got really close in that regard. And then no, Jalen's always been like, he's never switched up. You know what I mean? Like, he's the hardest worker in every place he's been. And he's a great teammate. Like, everybody loves him. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the Stevenson dudes, like my guy Sam Panich, who like little 5'10", he's a year older than Jalen, but he tells a story of like Jalen taking him to like a Starbucks with like an iPad and just like sitting with him watching film. And Sam wasn't gonna play that crazy. Like, Sam was gonna play a little bit, like 10 minutes.
Right.
But Jalen like sitting with him, like dissecting film with him to like help Sam be better. Like, that's the type of dude Jalen. And most people don't know that story. You know what I'm saying? And just like his cerebralness, like Jalen's like, obviously he's improving so much, but there's stuff in high school where you're like, okay, he's seeing the game differently. Yep. He's chess out there and not checkers. He's able to see, the rotations happening like way ahead of it. And obviously you credit his dad because that's been his real player development coach for so long.
Shout out Rick.
His whole family's great. His whole family's kept him solid and grounded. Like, and there's no accident for how all this is happening. And a lot of people are saying Jalen Brunson, he doesn't deserve this. Da, da, da. It's like, okay, watch. Like me, because Connor Cashaw lives down here in Houston, so I was working out with Connor. We were talking about that, like, yo, like that's what Jalen wants. Jalen
thrives off that, right?
Thrives off that. He thrives off people doubting and saying he's not good enough. And this dude wins now. Like, at every level, he's won. Like,
2-time national champ, man.
You know what I mean? And so like, he's any success he has going forward, it's like, you're not surprised just because like this dude will. When I was at UIC, like, this dude is coming in for a wedding. Like, as soon as he comes in, 7 a.m. Pete, gym. Like, we gotta get in the gym. We gotta get to work.
Right.
Got it. I said, and he's like off jet lag, like tired. He's busting his tail. Like, busting his tail. Like, that's how you know the dude's different, because like, he can't, like, when he had his camp, like his first inaugural camp at Stevenson, he flies in or whatever. He's like, Pete, get us a gym. Like, I got this little church gym. Me and him working out at like 10:30 at night. And he's got his routine of what he wants to do. He's like, all right, Pete, we're about to play. You got to guard me like 4 different spots in the mid post. You got to get 2 stops before I make 5 makes. And he's hit me with all the pivots and all that. I'm like this.
It's crazy.
And Jalen's only like 6'1", like, but he's just such a master in terms of like his footwork, his pace, angles, finishing, with either hand. You know what I'm saying? He's gotten better and better and better. So I know I made a long story pretty long, but I'm excited for him. He's gonna have a great year.
No, yeah, man. He's worth that, man. He's worth all that money that I think that the Knicks just gave him, and I think he's gonna change things around, man. Like you say, he's a winner. So when you surround yourself with winners, man, usually good things happen. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for Jalen, man. But I want to talk a little bit about your time at Kansas, man. The defending champs. They just won it all, man. After a crazy game, being down big time at half, and I've seen a lot of Kansas games. I know you've seen plenty of Kansas games. Kansas, they just always come back. I don't know what it is about Kansas. They never out of a game. So just talk about being around Bill Self and Jarris Howard and all those guys, man. Just talk about the environment and the competitive nature that Kansas has and your experience there.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with Coach Self, but like you see it, a big reflection in it is like the boot camp that they have before like Midnight Madness.
Heard all about
just the level of conditioning and standard that they hold them to. Like dudes have to run 22s, like hard. And this is after, doing station work,
right?
Jump ropes, like everything. Just the level of like mental toughness that these guys build over just that 2-week span, but they compete hard. Like after that and in their practices, like, when they got to scout against West Virginia, they got 6 guys. They're going to get 6 guys in the press. You know what I mean? They're going to get 6 guys. There's no out of bounds. Like,
right.
Just the competitiveness every day and the standard that Coach Self holds them to defensively is big. But you credit the guys that are an extension of Coach Self, like the Devontae, the Devon Dotsons, like being that leader and holding everybody to that. So no, man, great dudes. Coaching staff's phenomenal. But you give a lot of that credit to the players too, because they work their tails off. They put in a ton of extra work and truly love basketball. And dudes do anything they can to win. Like they hate to lose when they like winning. Like, and Devontae is the staple of that. Dude's won 4 Big 12 rings, like Final Four. Like that's the type of dude that they had. Not just Devontae, but Svi Mikhail, Malik Newman, Udoka, Dot, Ochai, all them dudes. Yep. But that's all the way back to Sharon, all the way back when Coach Self first got there. Like that's the culture that they've created, and they don't defer from that. And so that's why they're going to be really successful again this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching them this year. And I love watching Kansas play, man. I think Bill Self has got it all figured out, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of coaches in the country got it figured out, but I just like the way Bill Self he approaches the things that he do on a daily basis. I think that's big, man. Talk about the differences between Coach Self and Coach Crean, because you got the opportunity to work with Coach Crean a little bit, maybe a little bit more personally than you did with Coach Self. So just talk about being around Coach Crean, Coach Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, they're both great. Both, Hall of Fame level coaches. Coach Crean is they're both big offense. I think their pen games are really good in terms of being able to adjust and cater their offense to their teams. Coach Crean definitely wants to play fast. I think Coach Self wants to play fast too. I remember like back when Kansas played Indiana in like the Pearl Harbor. I don't say Pearl Harbor, like a game in Hawaii. Yeah, and one of the most competitive competitive games that I've seen is back when Indiana had Yogi Ferrell and Thomas Bryant, and Coach Self had the Frank Mason, Josh Jackson group. So no, great coaches. Both very similar in terms of being very demanding, but but they want the best for their players. They love their players, and they just want to win. They want to win. They want to compete hard. They do a lot of it with really big passion. So I see a lot of more similarities and differences than anything. So just two really good coaches, and obviously I can't thank Coach Crean, helped me get to where I am today. Gave me an opportunity. Obviously, Coach McClain is where that started from, but for Coach McClain to bring me to Georgia, and Coach Crean gave me a lot of responsibility in terms of the player development and the video, to initiate a lot of drills within practice, to do anything I can to help impact the team with winning. He'd held me to that standard. So I can't thank Coach Crean enough. Like I wouldn't be in the position I am today without him. And to be able to interview with these G League teams and have somebody stamp you. Coach Crean introduced me to Coach Bolstra at Summer League, which was like really special.
Yeah, I know that's big for you.
That was huge. Just somebody else who's Filipino in this industry to meet somebody at that, you know. So Coach Crean introduced me to him, and Coach Bolstra and I had a really good conversation. And literally, he watched the whole Miami Heat Toronto Summer League game with us, and then as soon as he was leaving, he was just like, "Yep, you give Peter my contact." So you know, now it's somebody hopefully to kind of look to as a mentor down the line and kind of talk about things that I might need in my coaching, where I feel like I got blind spots and how I can get better. So
Right.
I couldn't have done that without Coach Crean. So very, very thankful for that.
For sure, man. Shout out to Coach Crean, man. I was in Vegas when you was in Vegas. I didn't know you sat down with Coach Spoelstra, man. That's big time, man.
Yeah, it was like really one of the last days, man. Like I had no idea. I did not plan it that day.
Right.
Did not plan it. But like I was watching the games with Coach Crean for the last couple of days, and that was just a special moment that happened.
Unbelievable, man. I know that was big for you, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna switch gears a little bit, man. I know you're busy, man. We're gonna finish it up a little bit, but we're gonna wrap it up with I want to know if you had to pick a starting 5 players from Chicago. Players from Chicago. It could be from the 70s to this year. I don't care. Who would be your starting 5 Chicago team?
Tough. I think I'm gonna go really small. I'm gonna go Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Fame point guard. I put D Rose at my 2. We're gonna be really small. We're gonna press you full court. D Rose at the 2, D Wade at the 3. At the 4 spot, if we count KG's 1 year at Farragut, I'll go KG.
Yep.
And like we're long, we're versatile. I'm gonna go Anthony Davis at my 5. That's my team. We're gonna pick up full. We're gonna play fast, and we're gonna be able to go. I think we'll be able to guard multiple positions. You know what I'm saying? So
that's a real nice 5.
That'd be my 5. And I think like Brunson as my 6th man.
Yeah. Run the show a little bit, slow things down a little bit. Yeah, that's a nice 5. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. Give me your top 5. I know you got in the train a lot of great players, and these are no slights to anybody, but I want to know top 5 players that you've gotten to train. They don't have to be the best, just top 5 that you enjoyed working out with.
Yeah. A lot of great ones. Everybody's great. I really enjoyed obviously Devontae, just being in the gym with him a ton. Malik Newman, when it was his redshirt year, just always being in the gym with him. I really enjoyed working with Leak. Obviously Jalen, wasn't like working with Jalen heavily, but the time that I got to do it,
yeah,
it was great. I'd say down here in Houston, who's been Jayshawn Tate's a sponge, man, and he works his tail off. Not necessarily leading it, but just being on the floor, assisting with it. He's gonna have a big time career. He's gonna be big time for the Rockets.
Man, I want to know. There's so many great trainers out there. Some being on social media, some being not. Just give me 3 top trainers that you've been able to learn from, things that you might have. And everybody steals things from others, so things that you might have stole from another trainer. Just give me 3 top trainers that you really enjoy.
Yeah. So
watch.
I think number 1 is Stefan Martinez. He from the St. Louis area, but kind of comes from that, Cody Topper, Nick Friedman cloth of dudes. Obviously he's learned from Drew Hanlon a ton as well, but Steph's kind of been. I love Steph, a lot because he's able to blend the conceptual side of the game. So the actions that happen all the time in the game, and the actual skill itself. I feel like sometimes people will work on just the skill, and then players will know when to apply that skill. You know what I mean? And he does a good job of bridging the 2 together. So I really enjoy. I've stats with my brother since like 2016, 2017. And so for us to do this together for the first time this summer, it's been 3 year coming just because I've been in college. So he's obviously number 1. But I'd say like kind of like combined, like I said, is Nick Friedman, Cody Topper. Nick's the assistant coach with the Charlotte Hornets, and then Cody Topper's assistant with LSU. Just really good in terms of, watering the plants, and their like biggest thing is like script it, read it, play it. So yes, I'm gonna script it, have block training for the player, for, example, a point guard, you're going to script certain finishes that a point guard needs to have. You're going to script certain passing that they need to have. But then you're going to put them in positions where, okay, now there's going to be decision-making involved where, okay, they have to find the solution themselves to the type of finish they need to have or the pass that they need to have. And then you put it in a situation where it's 3-on-3, 3-on-2, where maybe they have an advantage and they got to make the right decision. And you're playing live, and then you play an actual 3-on-3 with, other players. So they've done a great job in terms of like organizing their player development philosophy and being sure it's got a good build up. So we've really taken a lot from them, and they have a lot of great stuff too in terms of just like the relationship component, how to communicate with players, and all that. So those two obviously really stand out. And then I give a lot of credit to Drew Hanlon. I think he's a really good teacher. I think he's been doing this thing for a long time, and I know for me, coming up, I know I was watching a lot of his videos. I got to interview him on a podcast with my guy Rob Dozier. So he's
a great one too. I saw that.
He's one of the best. So I think those are 4 guys you could say that I really look up to, admire in this business. But there's a ton, man. There's a ton of really good ones, but in this business, there's a lot of it's pretty diluted. And there's guys that just in it for the buck, or don't really study film, or it's just kind of cookie cutter. Like, so not gonna hold it against them. Sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and I'm sure I was like that. I was probably throwing out cones early too, or didn't really have a true plan. So you just you gotta find the really good ones and try. And it's kind of like taking from a game. Like you take a little bit from Kobe, you take a little bit from Steve Nash. You take to make it your own, so it's a solid solid product. So that's kind of my 2 cents on that.
Absolutely, man. Well, like I said, I know you're a busy man, man, and I really appreciate you coming on, man. A true basketball junkie right here, man. A guy who really, truly pays attention to every detail, every small detail. And I've seen it up close and personal, man. And I know that Fusilero is going to be a name that a lot of people in this basketball world will know real soon, man. So I'm looking forward to your journey moving forward, bro. And I appreciate you being on here with me, dog.
Much love, Mally. I appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me, man. Looking forward to doing this again. And you need anything, bro, you just holler.
I appreciate that, brother, man. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. Stay blessed.